There's some other problems on LeBron's radar, and that comes out of Enes Kanter Freedom, his new name, formerly known as just Enes Kanter. Interesting plot twist on the ongoing back and forth, which is really more one-sided because LeBron not really engaging in the player formerly known as Enes Kanter, now Enes Kanter Freedom. So we have stayed away from this story for the most part. However, the latest revelation was so juicy, it caught our attention. And you know I am a sucker for a good scandal, and this definitely rises up to that level. So if you've not been following along, and maybe you've been ignoring this, let me give you the condensed recap. So we have learned now that the Boston Celtics center, Enes Kanter Freedom, is making the claim that a current Laker player who's a teammate of LeBron James has encouraged him to, quote, keep speaking the truth, close quote. Now, Kanter Freedom spoke to the New Yorker, not a sports publication, in a one-on-one phone interview recently, and they talked about a hodgepodge of issues, including the political activism of Enes Kanter Freedom, the origins of the fights he's had publicly with some people around the NBA, and the reactions that he's gotten on social media and whatnot. So Kanter has called out LeBron James many times here, and also Phil Knight, the founder of the Nike empire, for their love of Chinese labor. So let us discuss. Now, I just want to stick to the latest claim made by the Celtics Kanter Freedom here, where he says that a current Laker player, a teammate, is encouraging him to continue to poke at LeBron publicly. So for the purposes of this Maller monologue, we are going to assume that he is not lying to us, that he's not fibbing, and there's truth in this statement. So the question, it's a whodunit. The question is, who do you think that unnamed Laker teammate is who, according to the Celtics player, is encouraging the continued needling of LeBron James? That's how I read the quote. So my view on this, you've got pocket knife, small potatoes, and confidant. And we'll connect all of this together, and we're going to make birthday cake. Happy birthday, Roberto! We're making him birthday cake. How exciting is that? All right. So first of all, this is red meat in the lion's den. It's an amazing tale. Again, if true, and we have no way of verifying or not verifying it, so we're just going to believe it because it makes for good radio. The idea that one of LeBron's co-workers, right, one of his co-workers is encouraging Enes to go around and call out the hypocrisy of LeBron. That's a big story, right? Am I wrong on that? I don't think I'm wrong on that. That's outstanding. Now, before we tell you who our person of interest is, we are using the time-tested Maller process of elimination. So we have to eliminate certain people right off the bat. Using our trusty Boy Scout pocket knife. I was a Cub Scout. I was a highly ranked Cub Scout back in the day. So let's whittle down the possibilities. What do you say? So right off the top, I'm going to shave off Carmelo Anthony from the list. Don't have Carmelo on there. Don't have it. I just think Carmelo and LeBron have been besties since high school, and I don't think he's the guy. Anthony Davis does not strike me, at least based on his public persona, as somebody who would be worried about this. He'd be like, forget about it. I don't care about any of that. He doesn't have a lot of passion on the court, Anthony Davis. I don't think he's got a lot of passion for the political mumbo-jumbo of the day. So I'm going to say that he is not the guy. I also am not including Avery Bradley, Kent Bazemore, Dwight Howard, and DeAndre Jordan. All of them are out. They're just background noise. That's all they are. All right, now secondly, then you look at the younger players on the Lakers. and you look around, there's not many of them. I believe the oldest team in the NBA, it's a short list. Someone named Talen Horton-Tucker, Austin Reeves, and the still relatively young, although he's been in the NBA for a few years, Malik Monk. So I don't see any of these guys speaking up. Enes Kanter Freedom, to my knowledge, has no direct connection to any of those cats. So I am going to say these guys are just small potatoes and that they are not the players. We continue our in-depth on-air investigation, trying to determine who the mystery player is that Enes Kanter Freedom claimed on the Lakers is encouraging him to continue to poke or tug at LeBron's cape. So I doubt that these players are the ones I mentioned there. Talen Horton-Tucker, Austin Reeves, Malik Monk. They are rather irrelevant, unspecial, inconsequential in the big picture. So I doubt that they would have any interaction with Freedom, or even if they did, I don't think he would make a big deal about it. All right, final thought. So what does that leave? All right, that leaves a handful of veteran players left on the Laker roster as we, again, attempt to find out who has loose lips. Who is the player that took the dagger out behind the scenes? So let's get down to it right now. Our main person of interest is a Kanter confidant, someone who has a direct connection and broad shoulders. We believe there's a good chance it is Russell Westbrook. Scandal. Yes, the same Russ who stood in front of the Boston bench the other night and angrily clapped at the Celtics. Now, that was heat of the moment. Was he doing that to cover up the fact that before the game he had mentioned to Kanter Freedom that he liked what he was doing? Inquiring minds would like to know. So I've circled Westbrook's name in red ink. And you look at the evidence, it's all circumstantial. Former teammates in Oklahoma City. And I believe Kanter, when he was known as Enes Kanter, was one of the co-conspirators when Russell Westbrook set the triple-double record, or became the first player since the Big O to have a triple-double every game. And Russell Westbrook benefited because guys like Enes Kanter ran away from the basketball like it was a live hand grenade, and they didn't want to touch it, and that allowed Westbrook to get cheap rebounds. So, and listen, Westbrook is off to a bumpy start compared to how he thought he was going to be playing with the Lakers. So I could totally see Enes Kanter chatting casually, catching up on old times back when they were hanging out together in the Dust Bowl, and a little pep talk and keeping the pressure on LeBron James, and make sure you keep tugging at the King's Cape there. Now, other than Westbrook, I did consider Dwight Howard and Rajon Rondo, but Westbrook is the main person of interest in this thorough, minutes-long MALLER Show investigation.